Horizon Gents, Motorsuji Reacts, and this is the outbreak of World War I, how Europe spiraled into the Great War, Week 1. Well, the channel, The Great War. Yeah, I reacted to the prelude to World War I from this channel, and it was awesome, 3-part series there was. But then I realized, wait a minute, if I'm reacting to this channel, why not start from the literal beginning? So this is the first ever video, I think. I'm pretty sure this is the first ever video that was uploaded from this channel. So yeah, I'm gonna react to a lot of videos from this channel, not all of them, because I'm pretty sure there are more than 700 videos from this channel. Holy shit, I didn't know you could make that many videos about just one World War I. But yeah, after the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, Austria-Hungary is determined to put a lid on Serbia once and for all. Germany wanted to go to war with Austria sooner than later. Yeah, I saw the extra history video. Yeah, in that I saw that. Germany is like, do it now, let's not wait around so Serbia gets the sympathy. Because it was afraid of a strong Tsar Nicholas II. In our first episode, India explains how the various European conflicts spiral into a world war. This is the first episode of our ongoing series where we follow the events of World War I, week by week, 100 years later. Yeah, so Germany wanted to go to war immediately, obviously, because Austria had the sympathy. Sorry, I said it in the wrong way last time. Austria had the sympathy because, how Franz Ferdinand got shot. But they said, like, okay, their sympathy might go away, so we need to attack, immediately. Yeah, we saw that in the extra history video. That was awesome. So let's watch this one. Remember, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the reaction. There's a link in the description. Check out the cars for different places. Check out the cards, and yeah, let's watch it.
My name is Indy Nidell, and this channel, The Great War, is going to cover the First World War week by week as it unfolded 100 years later, from today until November 2018, so you can really get a sense of just what happened as it happened. The active weeks, the passive weeks, the weeks of carnage, and the weeks of hope, we'll follow them all one by one. And we've made a couple of special episodes about the prelude to war, so you can get some idea of all of the forces in motion. We've also made a special episode about the assassination of the Archduke and his wife, as it was one of the pivotal moments in our
Wait a minute, so this is not the first episode. I thought this is a very early episode. Alright.
history. All 3 of these episodes will come out in the next few days.
It is the first episode. He's just saying that he made it all. Okay.
100 years ago today, on July 28, 1914, the Empire of Austria-Hungary declared war on the Kingdom of Serbia. Now, as you are probably aware, this snowballed within days into the First World War. Now, people often talk about the blank check, when Kaiser Wilhelm said on July 5, 1914, that he would unconditionally support Austria in whatever actions she took against Serbia. And this is seen as the main argument for Germany's responsibility for the war. But this is a little too simple. In the days following the assassination of the Austrian Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Sarajevo by the Serb Gavrilo Princip, there were anti-Serbian riots and demonstrations in much of Bosnia, and official dispatches to Vienna that there was Serbian complicity in the plot. But general European reactions to the killings were quite mild. Austria, however, had big ideas, many of them coming from Army Chief of Staff Konrad von Hotzendorf, and I love that name. Konrad was a vehement imperialist for Austria and Austrian greatness. He's also
the name fits the mustache, right?
been described as being, quote, the most dangerous kind of officer, both stupid and intensely energetic. There you have it. In fact, in the year and a half before today, 1914, he asked his government to go to war no less than 26 times. And it's very important to note here that his main counterweight, the man who repeatedly urged Emperor Franz Joseph against war with Russia or war with Serbia not to listen to Conrad, was Archduke Franz Ferdinand, now deceased.
Yeah.
The assassination was, to Conrad, a heaven-sent means to curb Serbian power and ambition. Now, to understand the next few weeks, we really need to look a bit at both Germany and Russia. In 1912, the Kaiser had told Army Chief of Staff von Moltke and Grand Admiral von Tirpitz that, quote, Austria had to act vigorously against the foreign Slavs. If Russia were to support the Serbs, war would be inevitable for us. Although we think of pre-war Russia today as a backwater, this was not really the case. Russia had become the world's 4th largest economy by 1914. Okay, shortage of money had always meant before that
in the 20th century, Russia was not some joke. Come on, man. Russia was powerful. But yeah, first of all, all the videos I've seen about this from Extra History and others too, that Obviously, Germany said to Austria to attack immediate, don't wait around, because of the world's sympathy at that moment. Because if they attacked, world would be like, okay, Archduke got shot, it's understandable. So that was the case, and also all the other military like Russia, France, basically didn't have time to mobilize, right? If they are immediately attacks, if Germans, whether it's the Nazis time or even during the World War One blitzkrieg mentality, they have it from the start, like immediately attack, element of surprise.
She had never been able to build and equip her army like the Germans could, but more importantly, her railways. By 1914, though, Russian currency was on the gold standard, and the railroads were booming, and Russia would be able to easily and quickly defend her borders in only a few years. Now this was a big fear in the German high command, since Russia obviously had the manpower advantage. Once her railways were a match for Germany, well, German Chancellor von Bethmann Hollweg's diary from July 7th tells us these thoughts, that Russia had become a nightmare, and that the German generals say there must be a war before it was too late. By 1917, Germany has no hope, so better 1914. As an aside here, this was the opinion of the generals and some government leaders, but it was not.
Okay, something is something just I thought of right now. 1914, right? I don't know why I never thought of this before, but what years this were, right? 1914, 1915, all this time, World War I started, right? Also the Spanish flu breakout. Oh, look at that, there's a global flu going on, apparently killed more Indian than any other place, which I didn't know. That was surprising. But Spanish flu got, swept under the rug because of the World War I, right? I was surprised that there was a major outbreak there that nobody talked about. And Einstein came with the general relativity in 1915. That is also around this time. That is one of the most significant thing in science ever, right? General relativity. 10 years ago, he came with the special relativity, which didn't explain everything, so it was special relativity. It's only for some of the special, cases. But general relativity, that was just untouchable, right? Even today, people, that was so monumental that basically people think if Einstein never came up with, people would have, people would struggle to come up with it, and it would still not be the same way that Einstein came up with. That was how big the general relativity was. And that was also around this time. So around this time, many key events were happening.
Opinion of the German people at large. You see, Germany had the largest population of socialists in Europe, and they and others comprised a big anti-war segment of society. So the Kaiser wrote on June 30th, the Serbs must be disposed of, and right soon. And he did pledge German support for Austria, and he did tell the Austrian ambassador on July 5th that should war between Austria-Hungary and Russia prove unavoidable, Germany would be at Austria's side. However, and this is really important, he also told his chancellor that he did not think there was a real prospect of war, that Russia was not close to being ready. The next day, he went on his annual 3-week vacation cruise to Norway, which is kind of not what you do if you were basically the most powerful man in the world and you were about to go to a major war. So in spite of it all, a world war was not...
Yeah, but just listen to the words you just said. The most powerful man in the world trying to attack Serbia, where he knows Russia is not going to mobilize that fast. So he didn't thought that his presence is required. He didn't take the situation seriously to begin with, I think. Because he told Austria to attack, right? Declare war. But Austria just waited around way too long. And then Russia was basically mobilizing.
Not on the Kaiser's mind. So, on July 7th, the Austro-Hungarian cabinet met to discuss Serbia, and they were for a war to reduce Serbia's size and make her dependent on Austria. On July 13th, a secret report reached Vienna from Sarajevo that there was zero evidence the Serbian government had anything to do with the assassination. Now, this didn't really change anything, but this did. Franz Joseph finally became convinced that Austria could take action against Serbia without any other powers interfering, so he agreed to issue an ultimatum. The terms of the ultimatum were finalized on July 19th. It had a total of 15 demands, and it linked the Belgrade government with the assassination, even without evidence. Now, you can look up the demands yourself, but here are a couple that really stick out. The Serbian government must condemn anti-Austrian propaganda and punish anyone who made or distributed it. And the big one, Austrian officials would participate in the judicial process.
There you go.
In Serbia. Yep, they would be in charge of justice in another country. Now, as you
Yeah, so basically, you killed our Archduke. It doesn't matter if your government was involved or not, but this is an excuse that we need. We want Serbia, basically. With all, it makes little difference. We want all the things. Like, nobody can say anything bad about us there, and we, basically get included in your, basically, all the judicial thing, and yeah. So basically, they are just Austria was just using this assassination of Franz Ferdinand as an excuse, obviously. Most countries did that for the World War I, because everybody had some personal, issues at the stake.
You may guess, this ultimatum was designed to be rejected. It was sent on July 23rd with 48 hours for Serbia to agree to it. 6 p.m. on July 25th, Serbia answered the ultimatum. She agreed that anti-Austrian propagandists would be punished and subversive movements suppressed, and actually agreed to almost everything else. But as to Austria participating in the judicial process within Serbia, Serbia simply asked that this demand be submitted to the tribunal in The Hague. Now, everybody except Austria thought this response was just fine, but Austria was determined to go to war. Actually, Russia suggested 2 days later that negotiations between her and Vienna should be opened to try and sort things out. This was refused. A British attempt the same day to talk Germany into having a four-power conference to also try to sort things out was rejected as well. And you know what? Here's something that happened then that remained secret until after the war. On July 28th, 100 years ago today, Kaiser Wilhelm finally read the full text of the Austrian ultimatum and Serbia's response, and he could see no reason at all for Austria to declare war. Yep, after all this had happened, the Kaiser wrote, "A great moral victory for Vienna, but with it, every reason for war is removed." And just about an hour after the Kaiser scribbled that in the margins, Emperor Franz Joseph signed a declaration of war on Serbia, confident of German support. And that declaration would turn out to be the death warrant of his own empire.
Damn.
We'll see you next week. Click subscribe to get each and every episode as it comes out. And if you like the show, but English isn't your best...
Yeah, everybody's basically saying that how every country had the stake in and they just use this excuse. But so far I see here, even the Kaiser, Britain and every other country is also saying like, okay, let's just do the peace treaty here. Even Russia is saying that. Okay, let's talk it out. Nobody immediately wanted that scale of war. But then again, obviously, people want excuses to, have advantages, but nobody wants a world war. That never benefits anyone. Damn, but and also, I guess the Tsar Nicholas, right? Tsar Nicholas and the Kaiser of Germany, they were related, right? If I remember correctly. So yeah, somehow related, right? From the extra history video, I remember that. But yeah, damn, that was something. All the things that to align, right? Basically, Franz Ferdinand going there, dodging an assassination attempt. Then his driver just happened to take a wrong turn at the place where the last assassin was just hanging there like, okay, I guess that's failed. I can't do nothing about it. Oh, look at that. That's the car. That's the, Archduke right there. He just shot them and then it was just panic, like political panic and everything. And obviously Austria wrote that down about judicial, getting involved in the judicial process of Serbia, knowing that they would never agree to that. Alright people, that was the outbreak of World War I, how Europe spiraled into the Great War, the channel The Great War. This is a great channel. I'm looking forward to react to lots of videos from this because, I think this is the only most comprehensive channel and, basically videos about World War I there is, so it's going to be fun. Remember, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe, check out the reaction, there's a link in the description, check out the cards for different places, everything cards, and yeah, I'll see you next time.